Let's first understand why do we need a cross account module. So to understand it better, I have taken an example of VPC peering in AWS. So here we have a AWS account in which I have two separate VPC, let's say VPC1 and VPC2, and now I have to create a VPC peering between these two VPCs. So process is like I will initiate a VPC peering from here. It will send a connection to this. Then this VPC will have to accept the connection, and once it has accepted the connections, then they both will exchange the routes. So this VPC will update the route table with the details of this VPC, and similarly this will also update his route table with details of this VPC. This is the complete process, and let's say if we have to do that in the same account, then it is very easy. But the real problem comes when we have two separate accounts. So here if you will see, both the VPC are in separate AWS accounts. So this is, let's say, account 1 and this is account 2. And now it becomes tricky because we are providing credentials for this account separately and this account separately. So this two-way communication becomes a challenge because you can initiate a VPC peering from here, but same credentials cannot be used to accept the VPC peering from this account. So let's see how we can implement this. So we will start from how a single account VPC peering module will look like. Then we will see how we can modify that same module to work cross account. So I have this GitHub repo on which I have put all my code. Link I will paste in the description section. So let's see what it has. So it has one directory which has all the modules. Then it has this directory, my account, from where I will invoke these modules. So let's see what it has. So I have already created two accounts, one for VPC peering cross account, another for VPC peering same account. Similarly, I have invoked these modules from separate places. So let's see how same account VPC peering will look like. So first of all, let's go to provider.tf. So in my provider.tf, I have just specified like I'm using AWS provider, and these are my credentials because I'm only using one account and both the VPC are in this account only. Now let's see what is inside this. So from this file, I'm actually calling my module here. So you can see I only have to specify these details. So this is the source path of my module, then requester VPC ID and acceptor VPC ID. So here you will have to explicitly write down the VPC ID of both the VPCs and then the peer region. Now let's see what is inside the module. So my module has two files, variable.tf and main.tf. Let's go to variable first. So this is my variable.tf where I've defined all my variables. You can see peer region, requester VPC ID and acceptor VPC ID, which I was passing from where I was calling the module. Then I have few data variables also defined here. This data variable will extract the VPC object based on the VPC ID which is provided here. And similarly, I'm also extracting the route tables because I'll be needing those route tables in order to populate the routes. So this will be for requester, similarly VPC and route table, and this will be for acceptor, VPC and route tables. I've also initiated this variable. I think you can leave it for now. Let's see what is inside this. So as I earlier mentioned, we only need 4 steps. So I will initiate the VPC peering first of all. Then from the other VPC, I will have to accept it. Once that is accepted, then both the VPCs will exchange the routes. So this is for the first VPC and this is for the second VPC. So they both will populate each other's route table, right? So this is simple. In case of single account, both the VPCs are in same account and that's it. No, there is no problem. But let's assume, let's say this thing I have to do from the first account. Similarly, my other VPC is in some other account. Then this acceptance has to be done from some other account. So the problem is I need some different credentials for this. The same credentials which I have specified in my provider.tf will not work. So this is the problem. So In order to get that solved, we have to design a cross-account Terraform module which can accept more than one credentials, and in that way we can design our module in such a way so that the first step is done by some different credentials, the second step is being executed with some other credentials. Let's see that in action, how we can do that. So again, this was my Terraform code. We saw how we have to do in case of same account, but let's see how it will differ in case of cross account. So the first thing will be in my provider.tf. I will have to define one more credential. So earlier I was having this credential only, right? Now I have one more account on which my other VPC lies. So I have to define these credentials also in my provider.tf. This is the first step. So the second step is, when I was calling the module, I will have to pass these two credentials along with it so that my module can make use of it. So let's see how we can do that. So if you will see here, these all things remain the same. The only difference is here. So here I am explicitly passing two providers. The name of the first provider is aws.requester and the name of the second provider is aws.acceptor. So you can see I'm using the default profile here, AWS only, and in here I'm passing the alias name. So if you will see in my provider.tf, my second account I have specified here, and same thing I have passed in alias here. So this is my default provider and this is my secondary, or I will say alias provider. So I have to define two credentials here, and both the credentials I'm passing using this block. So this is the first thing you will have to change when you are calling the module, when you are calling a cross account module. Now let's see what gets changed inside the module. So inside the module we will see this variable.tf. So the main change is this. So as we are passing some credentials when we are calling the module, similarly we have to make the module aware of this. So in order to do that, we are specifying this Terraform block here. So this Terraform block simply says like required provider is AWS, and I can have multiple configuration aliases, and I can specify the name of the alias like this. So my first alias is, let's say I'm naming it as requester, and the second alias I'm naming it as acceptor. It can be anything. I can write my name here also. The only thing is I have to use the same name across everywhere. So let's say if I'm calling it requester here, then I will have to write requester here also, right? And similarly in the inside the module also. So till here we have done three things. We have updated the provider.tf with the credential of other account also. Where we were calling the module, we have passed both the credentials, and inside the variable.tf of my module, I have made it aware like you can expect few more configuration aliases with the name of requester and acceptor. Now we have to just update our module with this information. So earlier, if you will see, this is the same module which I was using in the case of same account. I have just updated few small things here. So this was the step when I was initiating the VPC connection, right? So you will see everything remains the same. The only thing is I have added this extra line here, and I am explicitly asking him to do this particular action using these credentials. So I am explicitly passing my provider here. So what will happen? This step will get executed using these credentials. Similarly, the next step I have to do from my other account. I have initiated the VPC peering, and I have to accept this VPC peering from my other account. So here also I have explicitly passed the provider as acceptor. So what will happen? This step will get executed with the credentials of first account, and this step will get executed with the credentials of second account, because I have passed provider as aws.acceptor. And similar thing I will do in case of route tables also. So this will get executed with the credentials of requester, and this will get executed with the credentials of acceptor. So this way we can enhance any module with credentials of multiple accounts. The only thing you will have to do is, first of all, you will have to make your module aware, like you are expecting multiple credentials, and similarly as you are passing multiple credentials here, you will have to update the module accordingly, like from which credentials you want to do what step, and then simply you have to pass these credentials like this. Just by doing these four changes, you can convert any module to work as cross account. VPC peering was one example, but the similar thing can be implemented across multiple use cases. So one use case is, let's say you have your load balancer in one account and your Route53 in some different account, and you will have to design a Terraform module which will, let's say, create your load balancer, and as well as it will create a Route53 entry also. So in that case, again, you will have two providers or two different accounts. So what you have to do is you will have to update your module like this so that it can have two providers, and then you will have to update this module also so that a specific action can be executed with specific credentials. Now let me mention a interesting thing. You can use this cross account module for a single account also. The only thing you will have to do is, from where you are calling the module, I was earlier passing two separate credentials. Let's say this was my default credential and this was credential for some other account. In case of using the same module for a single account, what I have to do is I will just remove this and I will pass, in case of both acceptor and requester, I'm just passing the same credentials. So just by doing this module will work for same account also. So I will suggest you should always create things like this in a cross account way, and let's say if you need this thing for same account, then you have to just pass the similar credentials. That's it. You don't have to change anything else, or you don't have to have two separate modules like the way which I've just mentioned. So I've just added these things just for the demonstration, but you can have this thing only which will work both cross account and single account. I have updated this repo link in the description section, so you can just check this out, and do let me know if you face any problem or any query if you have related to this. Thanks a lot, guys.